4 across and back.
Coming from 14th up or 15th and around back to 2nd and back to potentially the last house on the block.
Today, how do you how do you
6th
provide?
Street.
And so instead of going across at 6th, you're going to be going to 2nd and then back. 4 blocks more, you cross 14, you go 4 blocks back.
And through
Which is
two,
a total.
through two roundabouts.
Yeah.
So it's gonna extend our time, that's all.
Okay.
The other thing is what have you guys done to address any archaeological finds that you're in areas where they've camped?
We did our archaeological survey. I don't think we need to have any.
We don't need to have a monitor, and all of our stuff's going up, so.
Well, we have some cuts.
We do have very little in some of the drainage runs, but we'll have an inadvertent discovery plan in our contract if something were to happen. We have a plan on addressing any cultural resources that we find, but in the areas where we went out and looked for artifacts and looked for parts for this project, we haven't had anything that would necessitate us having monitoring or having something additional there. So it hasn't come back as anything out of the ordinary.
So most of the new roadway is going to be above, as he mentioned. But we have conduits going in for luminaires, and we have storm drains and those types of things. So there will be some excavation as well.
I just had one more question on closing 6th Street. Have you done any modeling to see how much traffic that's going to push up to 15th?
Yeah, we actually, I think we shared a model with you at the last meeting. I don't think it showed all, we just kept it in this section. I don't think it showed all the way 15. It's not a lot. There's not a lot of people use 6 because it's hard, especially a peak hour. That's what our model is based upon, because it's so hard to get across safely. To turn left. Turning right is different too. To head into Vancouver is a little bit easier because right turns are easier than cutting across lane traffic, but it's pretty minimal. It's probably within our ability to predict out. We predict out 20 years of growth based on your comp plans and the county's comp plan. And it's outside of really our ability to accurately predict that growth.
Oh, sure. Trevor, do we have traffic counts on that piece of 6th?
On 6th Street?
Yeah,
We do,
okay.
up at the intersection of C Street, not
Right.
not out on 14, but close
Right, yeah,
proximity.
no, but,
Yeah,
okay,
yep.
yeah. Be interesting to look at those.
We actually did, because you guys were concerned, justifiably so, about the shift of traffic going up 3rd versus up 6th because of this in the block. So what we're willing to do is, if we need to, we can put the bumps or something else, other signs or whatever you want, that wants us to do, to help try to minimize that negative impact. Because none of us want to have a whole bunch of extra vehicles going through just because DOT does something to us with the roads.
How far are you going to be going into Washougal Crossing development? I see on here, I think you're going pretty far into that project.
Which one's that?
That's
North
the
side of
North
2nd.
roundabout.
Oh, here?
Yeah.
We actually, Chris and I met numerous times with the Killians to come up with a plan that worked for them, worked for us, worked with your staff as well. But we actually went down and our engineers met with their engineers, and we actually came a plan. So this, I think that's basically what you see is what you get. So we're buying some property from them, but we aren't going to build the whole infrastructure. One time we planned it all out, but we agreed on basically where we're going to end our project and where they're going to begin their work. So we'll take a little bit of their property. We'll have a little bit in surplus elsewhere that we may or may not trade with them. But, so we're going a little bit in.
Because in this one, it looks like the arm of that roundabout goes really
That's-
far into their project.
Well, yeah, it will, because that'll be their road. So
They will build that
their road is
portion
going
of
to
it.
come back in, then it'll go into all their parking. They have a real nice plan laid out for full development. And this, we're basically told them that 130 feet in, we want no driveways, no parking at all. We want to get people into your development, then they can start looking for parking. So we agreed that segment will be 130 feet in. After that, they'll have crossroads and to go to their the different facilities they have, different businesses, as well as the parking area.
So is it their responsibility to build that section, or is?
Yeah, everything outside of this is going to be their responsibility.
So our extent of this will be, we'll connect the sidewalks across the roundabout and make sure that pedestrian east-west access is taken care of. And then when they come and finish their development on the north-hand side, they'll actually build the road on the north-hand side. So we'll make sure there's the connectivity there. that we need to have.
They were willing to work with us because our other option was to leave their access over here and over here with median curb. And I didn't provide them very good access, so we came up with a good plan. Normally, we don't like legs of roundabouts or signals, either one, to go right in the middle of a development. But in this case, it was the best plan overall, so that's why we sat down, rolled up our sleeves, and worked with them to come up with this plan. They, I think at the end of the day, liked it a lot.
We kind of interrupted your presentation with questions in there. Do you have additional pieces of?
Just let's go ahead and bring up the last one. Somebody didn't get a packet, so visualization left. Yeah, there you go. And in the end, this is kind of what we're shooting for. What the project will look like when we're done.
I want this camera.
Yeah.
Pretty dang good camera. A couple of questions for you. I know you had mentioned that phase one was going to be at least a year. How long in phase two
Well, for
construction?
about 2 seasons is what we're thinking, about 2 years. We got a real limited work window to get in and build the East Camas Slough Bridge. So that, right now, is kind of controlling when the project finishes up.
But this phase that more of the people care about is
Is it?
about the same.
About a year.
Yeah. You have, how many walls, how many feet of walls do you have?
There's a little over 2 miles of walls. So,
And when do you anticipate starting to move dirt?
first of the year, January 1st.
It's already done, the bid's already in.
No, we wish we would have. but
We wish we were there.
We had some challenging property acquisitions, I guess the easiest way to put it. I mean, one, I can go through a number of them, I won't, I don't want to bore you, but we had one that the 40 different property owners in the subdivision all had a right to this property here, it's underneath the BPA lines. And so we need to get them to buy off, and finding the 40 owners in the planet is difficult. And not all of them live in the area, and not all of the deeds are clean. And so anyway, that's just one of many, many issues. So it's taken us several extra months to address those issues.
Should this lower bid climate help you guys out significantly?
Yeah, we should be under budget. How much, we aren't sure. We won't be 20 million under budget. Camus was asking that. We'll fund that as part of it. You know, you guys can go down to go, discuss that with the legislature after we open bids, but right now, we feel pretty good we'll be under budget, but how much we don't know.
If they were to convince Olympia or somebody that now was time to do it, your contingency plan though is that you could put the West Bridge, do it right,
$20 million there.
if somebody coughed it up, they're not.
Probably takes us, Lloyd Halverson asked a couple different times over the years, it's probably gonna take us 2 or 3 years to go through and get permits. There's chemicals down there that we're gonna be disturbing, and there's fish issues, and it's a little complicated.
There's no chemicals
It's easy,
down
the
there.
engineering actually isn't that difficult, we can do that, but permitting is a challenge, and trying to minimize the disturbance of those when you have to stabilize the earth. Doing it above ground is hard enough, doing it underwater is a challenge.
So the project takes to 6th Street, to the east side. Has anybody, Bart, has there been any numbers run on anybody's desk of what it would take to put Jersey barriers all the way down to 45th or the eastern side of the city? Just for that additional safety corridor going through there?
No, we haven't. We need to widen the roadway a little bit to do that, to provide what we call shy distance on the inside. We don't want to, but we could do that. Kind of the questions are, what are we going to do at 15th and 32nd? But that would probably